Okay, first grade. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on a color theory worksheet. The last time we were together, we were practicing our drawings for our landscape where you picked an easy, medium, or hard. And you kept practicing that drawing, trying to make it look as much like the one that you were looking at as you could. And for some of those, you drew them freehand. And then we also started introducing a grid where we break that picture into smaller pictures, which should have made it easier for you to locate where each item should be, whether it was a tree, house, hill, sun, or sky. What we're doing today is we're going to go ahead and practice colors, because just like practicing drawing, we need to practice what colors we want to use before we start our big project. Too many times I know I've done a piece of artwork, and when I got done with it, I wasn't overly happy with the colors that I chose, and that could have been easily fixed if I would have just done a quick practice worksheet. So that's what we're going to be doing today. There are 4 coloring page worksheets that you can work on today. It's more than enough than for the time that you have. Some of you are only going to finish 1, totally fine. Some are going to finish 2 or 3. Some of you are going to finish all 4. But again, it's not a race. We're not here to see who can get all 4 done. We want to make sure that the colors that you are choosing today are going to be the colors that you want to use next week when we work on our large yarn painting. Inside your coloring box, we do have a limited amount of colors for this project, only because we have a limited amount of yarn. So if the color is not in your box for markers, we don't have it in yarn. So we are a little bit limited, but I think you're gonna like how we color this in. So normally when we fill in artwork, if we're coloring in the sky, you go ahead and grab a blue and color until your sky is blue. The artist that we're learning about, Vasan, he did his art different, which is wonderful and why he was so successful. Instead of coloring it in a solid blue, he broke it into color patterns and pattern lines. So for this project, we're going to be using multiple colors, and we're going to be filling it in with line patterns. Whenever I'm painting or coloring, I have a few options of where I want to start. I never start from the bottom and work my way up. I like to either start in the center and work my way out, or I like to start from the top and work my way down. For this project, I think it's going to be best if you work from the top and go downward. So with that in mind, I'm going to start with my sky. Plus, it's the biggest, so when I get that done, I know that the rest of the project is going to go much quicker. So for my sky, I'm going to pick 2 colors. I'm going to pick natural sky colors, so I'm going to start with blue, and I'm going to pick purple just because it's close to blue. So we are just doing a 2-color line pattern for the sky. Blue is my favorite color, so I'm going to start with blue, and I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to outline my sky, which means I'm going to go around all of my trees, I'm going to go around my mountains, around my trees, around my mountain, and then I'm also going to go around my picture. So I'm going to go around the top and my sides. Now in between my trees down here, that's also sky, so I'm going to trace the inside of my trees, which is sky. And now my sky has been outlined with blue. So my 1 color pattern has started, and next I'm going to go ahead and move to my So now I'm going to take my purple and I'm going to outline the inside of my blue. And I'm going to keep doing this until my whole sky is filled in by not a single color, but by two colors that I've chosen. To fill in using a line and a two-color pattern. So back to blue. You can go back to the color that you chose, because not everybody's going to choose purple and blue, which is totally fine. Back to purple. If you are a fast worker and you do finish all of your pictures, you can tell that I'm going fast and I'm missing a whole bunch of spots. So if I am completely finished with everything, my next job would be to go in and make sure to get rid of all the white that I've missed. So my sky now is completely done using my color pattern of blue and purple and my line pattern. Next, I'm going to work on my trees. My only requirement for colors is that we do all of our tree stems black. When people see black in these pictures, we want them to know that those are the bottoms of our trees. Because my sky is so dark, blue and purple are really, really dark, I want to pick some brighter colors. So maybe for the tops of my trees, I'm going to pick yellow. And let's go ahead and pick magenta. So same thing, start with your yellow, do your first line, and then do your second line with your second color, and color it in yellow. Now I'm going to keep all my trees very simple because A, it's going to be faster for me to make the video, and it's just going to be easier for me to remember what colors I'm using. So for the first tree, I went yellow, magenta, yellow. So I like to switch the pattern up. So for the next tree, my pattern is going to go magenta, yellow, magenta. I'm going to switch again. I went from magenta to yellow. Now I'm going to do yellow to magenta. So my patterns and my trees switched. It's going to keep things interesting. If you want to, these 3 trees can be different than these 2 trees. But I'm going to keep them the same just so it's easy. So I started with yellow last. I'm going to start with magenta. One of the main reasons why I'm not going to switch the colors on my picture is because when people see magenta and yellow, I want them to automatically think tree. And if I'm switching the colors too many times, it will start to get confusing, and you'll even start wondering what each shape is. Just like what I did with my trees, I have 2 hills, so I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to do both of them the exact same colors. I'm going to be pretty plain and boring. I'm going to use grass colors, so I'm going to use a dark and a light green. So whenever I use the same color for 2 different things, I like to switch up the pattern. So for this first hill, I started with my light green, and this second hill, what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and start with my dark. All we have left now is just the rest of my foreground. So I'm going to try and pick some different colors than I used on my entire picture. So I have not used pink. It's a nice bright color. I'm going to bring the brightness back. And also I'm going to use orange, another bright color. And this should help balance out our dark sky with all those blues and purples. Remember, now that you're finished with the first one, it doesn't mean that you're done. It just means that you have tried this variation of colors, and now it's time to try a different set. And you're just going to keep coloring the next one, and then if you finish those, there's 2 more. So keep coloring on these. Definitely change the colors. Don't do the same sky in the same colors. That's not going to help you when you decide what colors you want to use for your big project. So for the rest of the time, keep coloring, do a second. If you finish a second, do a third. If you finish a third, do a fourth, because remember, here in the art room, we don't come in the room to be done. We come in the room to be better.